I'm totally sure that I've made it clear that I am on team let the birth rate plummet to hell. And this is another article that just makes my heart go pitter patter. UK's fertility rate falling faster than any other G7 nation, with austerity thought to be the principal factor. As the UK's fertility rate drops, concerns are rising about the economic impact it will have on the population, with more pensioners than working age people in the future. The average number of children women have in the UK is falling faster than any other G7 country since 2010, Sky News commissioned analysis has found. Research think tank the Center for Progressive Policy has discovered that the figure, which is called the fertility rate, has dropped by nearly 19% since 2010. That number represents the biggest proportion fall across the G7 in 12 years between 2010 and 2022. According to CPP analysis, Italy saw the second largest fall, followed by the United States, Canada, France, and then Japan, while Germany saw a rise. The proportion fall refers to the change in the fertility rate compared to what it was in 2010. Gotta love this graph. You gotta love this graph. Ben Franklin, interim CEO for the CPP, said they believe austerity and the austerity drive across the country was the principal factor in driving down fertility rates during that period. So let's take a look. Like I said, this is from 2010 to 2022. And this is the fall in fertility rates. So you see close to 19%. And then we got Canada, US, and Italy at between 13 and 14%. I love that the United States has fallen by nearly 14%. We can do better, y'all. We can do better. Let's get these numbers down. Let's plummet to hell. The birth rate needs to drop because this globe keeps letting us know that these countries, plural, don't deserve babies. They don't deserve all of the work and sacrifices that women do to bring babies into this world and to raise children into adults. That's what these patriarchal countries are telling women every single day. Anyways, back to the article. He described it as happening to a faster extent in the UK than other countries because austerity was quite significant here and more so than in other countries. I don't know what's going on in Germany, but they had a rise of nearly 14% in fertility over the 12 years. If I got any Germans in the comment section, please let me know what is going on over in Germany that they're actually increasing the fertility rate. CPP research also found that areas with high deprivation saw faster falls in rates, which demonstrates the impact of government cuts to Social Security spending that occurred over that time. Mr. Franklin said that in previous decades, falls in fertility rates have been about having more educated, higher income women. This fall since 2010 and since austerity has happened principally affected the poorer parts of the country. Low fertility rates can lead to a top-heavy economy with more pensioners than working-age people and subsequently put a strain on the nation's finances. 2022 saw a drop in the number of births in England and Wales to the lowest in 20 years. Good job, England and Wales. Emily Kate Day has one child, her daughter Violet, with her husband, and despite both parents working full-time, they still can't afford a second child. It's heart-wrenching, really, she says, because we always wanted a big family and we made the decision last year, perhaps, not to try for another one because of financial reasons. I'd love to have a sibling for Violet. She is desperate for a sibling as well, but financially at the moment with nursery fees, it's impossible. If there are fewer future workers, some argue it would mean a greater reliance on immigration to support the workforce. In London, however, and in other areas of the country, fertility rates and birth rates, the number of live births per 1,000 people annually, are contributing to schools closing. People don't know and understand that this is going to have a wide range of impact on different things. And that's the reason why if these countries cannot start listening to women and what women want, is going to have an impact. But they're going to do every single thing outside of listening to women before they decide to maybe listen to women. London councils say lower birth rates are the main reason for a reduction in demand for school places. Professor David Miles, CBE, from the Office for Budget Responsibility Committee says he thinks concerns about not enough children are somewhat overplayed. There are natural economic forces that will offset the effect of what might otherwise be a declining working population. Professor Miles added that one such force could be drawing more people into the labor force as companies look to older people working part time. Those are economic forces which naturally play out when there is a shift in demand for labor relative to the supply of labor. So, you know, I, these countries, these economists, all these people are always talking about the need for bodies to work, the need to fund pensions, the tax base, the tax revenue, and all of that. They don't look at all of these billionaires and millionaires that's just sitting on top of money, the food insecurity, the housing shortage, the expanding and over expanding of rents and all of this. But, let's just keep on talking about the same thing over and over. And people, women in particular, are not going to have babies to fund some pensions. Women are not going to have babies to fund a pension. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Y'all know where I am. Are you on team let the birth rate plummet to hell, or are you on team like have some babies or something? Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Apparently, New Zealanders are on the team let the birth rate plummet to hell as well. New Zealanders are having far fewer kids. Here's what that means. You will change your mind, but you would make a great mom. Who's going to look after you when you're old? These are phrases Zoe, who is child free by choice, has heard repeatedly over the years. The 37-year-old Auckland based professional says despite never having an interest in children, she faced endless pressure to become a mom. I don't find children cute or interesting for a start. I just never have, so I guess that makes it a relatively easy decision right off the bat. She's not alone either. Data shows New Zealand's birth rate has been steadily declining for the past few decades. For Zoe, the decision was fairly easy, but for others, it's driven by cost or environmental concerns. When I was being raised, it was never a focus on endpoint or a goal. Not that I wasn't ever discouraged either, it just wasn't focused on. There are also more concrete deterrents for her, such as the impact it would have on her career, free time, and finances. I value my lifestyle. I like peace and quiet. I like having my financial security and having my disposable income to do with whatever I want with. The lifestyle impacts are massive. I'm a very independent person. I like to get out and do things, and I just can't even imagine the extra admin to have to facilitate someone else in that mix. But there's also a cynical reason. Zoe says she doesn't feel right bringing a child into the world. Looking around at the world, I don't think it's a place that I would want to bring someone else into, quite frankly. I'm not saying I don't enjoy life or anything like that, but it's very challenging. The political landscape across the globe looks very, in my opinion, bleak. There's so much conflict. There are so many things that aren't nice in the world. I just personally don't agree that it would be wise to bring someone else into that. So some of that story was kind of fluffy. I just went ahead and went to Google. It says the number of children Kiwi women are having continues to fall, and it's easy to see why amid the cost of living crisis and positive societal change. Data from Stats NZ this week shows 57,000 live births were registered in the year that ended in 2024. Total fertility rate is 1.53, down from 1.6. So they are a little bit less. They're having a few less babies in New Zealand than they are in the United States. And it looked like some of their issues are basically what everybody else around the globe are saying. Economic refugees flee from New Zealand as the cost of living crisis deepens. So it's cost of living. They are losing people rather than gaining people. And this just a couple of these points. Amid high prices, steep interest rates, and unemployment worries, the New Zealand government estimates that 131,200 of its citizens have moved overseas in the past 12 months. That can't really be helping the birth rate. And of lack of quality jobs for Kiwis, especially New Zealanders' younger generations, is accelerating the exodus, with the trend trend unlikely to stop anytime soon. So the young people are leaving. The prices are too high. This is all just going to continue to play out what we're seeing across the globe. So it basically sounds like New Zealand, just like all of these other countries, pretty much the exact same thing is happening. Costs are too high and it's running people away, or people are just clamping down on their wombs. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This next story is triggering and maddening. This is wild. I don't know if there is going to be an influx of these stories of these husbands that are setting up their wives to be raped, but the trigger warning is there is rape and violence in this story. Disgraced Met Detective Inspector 54 drugged his wife so that men at swinging parties could rape her before her body was found in a blood-drenched hotel room in the Barbados. Obviously reminiscent of this French story where this man over here set his wife up to be raped multiple times over decades. And we know that that story is currently going on and playing out over in France. But to this story, the wife of disgraced Met detective was found dead in a blood-drenched hotel 2 weeks before he took his own life in prison. However, he was arrested soon after when the police received an anonymous tip-off that he was having inappropriate relationships with victims. He was accused of making sexual advances towards at least 4 victims between 2006 and 2012 when he was the leading rape investigation team. Like literally, is this why they're not solving any crimes over there? Because I heard that there's a lot of violence against women over there. Not saying that there's not a lot over here in the United States, but I definitely talk about our issues here. Anyways, let's get back to this. Shortly after the shamed officer was suspended for abusing his position, but remained on full pay until finally being sacked last year being 2023, and this happened last at 2012. Last year, after a misconduct tribunal which heard evidence of him taking drugs and offering to supply them at swingers parties. During this time, Rebecca's friends described their relationship as toxic and deeply controlling, with the pair both addicted to crack cocaine. It was also claimed that he forced Rebecca to have sex with other men at parties, and at one point she was raped while unconscious after being drugged by the ex-Met cop. These allegations of coercive control were being investigated by police when Rebecca was found dead in a pool-drenched hotel room while on holiday in Barbados earlier this year. On return to Heathrow, Arter was arrested on allegations, serious offenses, including rape, not related to Rebecca. 2 weeks later, he was discovered dead in his jail cell. The Sun reported that Arter was additionally held over allegations of voyeurism, sending malicious communications, and blackmail. Rebecca met Arter in 2007 when she reported a complaint of DV to the police, and Arter was the investigator, a detective sergeant working on a community safety unit. They began dating, which was part of his pattern of inappropriate relationships with vulnerable victims. 6 months after meeting Rebecca, he moved into the home she shared with her young son, Elliot, in Welling, South London, and they married in Las Vegas in 2016. So this just goes to show you why the marriage rates also need to decline, and that there is a lot of issues that need to be rooted out from top to bottom, because women will never be safe and protected if the people that are supposed to serve and protect are like this. Now let's move on to the France raping situation. I've talked about it before, but this is the most recent article. I haven't talked about it much because this is definitely very triggering. Can you imagine setting your wife up to be raped over decades? All right, so this is from the Daily Mail. Horrifying 17-minute video of Dominique Pellicot raping his drugged wife while accomplice watches on is played in court for the first time. This is one strong woman. The fact that she is so out there in public wanting all of this to play out in public is amazing. And I hope that all of these men, if they are found guilty, I hope their faces are plastered all over social media, all over regular media, so that the people that have been interacting with them know and understand that there are monsters in their midst. A horrific video showing Dominique Pellicot raping his drugged wife has been played for the first time to a court in Avignon, where he is standing trial alongside dozens of other men accused of joining him in vile attacks over the course of 10 years. The 71-year-old, who has been dubbed the Monster of Avignon, is seen violently assaulting his unconscious wife, Giselle, in the 17-minute footage. which he filmed and kept in a file labeled abuse, along with tens of thousands of pictures and videos. A man a man named only DDAS is seen with him in the clip, which was filmed in January 2019 at Pellicot's retirement chalet in Mazan, southern France. Like many of his co-accused, the 68-year-old is said to have traveled to Pellicot's home after meeting him on the now-closed website coco.fr. The defendant, who says he is a man-loving man, claimed in court that he only had wanted to have sex with a man and did not know about Mrs. Pellicot's presence until he arrived at the house. But the shocking footage reportedly showed DDAS going along with Pellicot's instructions regardless, performing oral acts on him and leaving the room when asked. At one point, Pellicot is said to order him to be silent with a shh, putting a finger up to his mouth. The video was filmed in a fixed shot from a shelf with a gruesome scene among a stash of 20,000 images kept by Pellicot and uncovered by the police in 2020. Investigators combed through the footage and identified 50 out of the 83 that appeared in the depraved images. Father of two, DDAS was identified in Pellicot's files and brought into police custody on March 23, 2021. What a bastard. I didn't think it was a trap, DDAS is reported to have said during interrogation after being shown pictures of him in Pellicot's marital bed 2 years earlier. Speaking in court yesterday, DDAS said, "I got caught up in this thing. I don't know why I didn't leave." Maybe because you were expecting something more, the Attorney General asked. Yes, between Dominique Pellicot and me, he replied. In the end, I don't even know why he called me in since I couldn't do anything, he added, and I got nothing. Another of the accused, 60-year-old Patrick A., also spoke yesterday. Pellicot is said to have invited him to his home with the message, "I'm looking for a perverted accomplice to abuse my sleeping little wife, a beautiful, prudish slut who does not want a threesome." The defendant, who identifies as a man-loving man, claimed that he only went to the house in March 2018 to meet with Pellicot. He claims Pellicot dragged him into the bedroom where his sleeping wife was. He said he needed that to excite her, and this man is very persuasive, he reportedly said. Patrick A. obeyed Pellicot's orders and abused his wife, saying, "I did it reluctantly. I got taken in. I had this thing of telling myself after this, it will be the two of us. I was blinded. I wanted him too much." He added, pictures are also said to show Pellicot performing an S act on Patrick A. However, he claims that he had a blackout during part of the meeting and that he did not remember getting home. The more it goes on, the more I think I was drugged, he claimed in court. The trial continues with more footage of the horrific assaults on Giselle Pellicot set to be shown. The mother of three, 71, has bravely waived her right to anonymity to unmask the alleged perpetrators in a case that has shocked the world. Whew. This is a lot. This is definitely a lot. And it just goes to show with sleeping with the ops, when your spouse is like this, I mean, you don't really need enemies when your spouse is like this, right? Who needs enemies when your spouse sets you up like this? Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all of this. Obviously, this is horrific and terrible, and I don't blame women for moving away from this type of stuff. But like a lot of people have said, women don't want revenge. Women just want to be left alone. That's it. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.